Hello, my name is Michael Dinezzo. I am conducting my Ignite presentation for my LSC 530 Text and Tools for Children and Youth. I will be discussing critiquing and evaluating sources for children. When we critique sources for children, we do one of three things. We interact, so we're constantly reacting, and we are also discussing, we're sharing, we're doing all these different things with information, and it's passed on from one person to another, to different people, to different countries, and we need to know how exactly to do that. So it's not just discussing whether a website is good or bad or neutral. We need to know what particular content to look for. Especially the same can be said for music and computer games, as well as technology continues to enhance our learning and our understanding of information. And as you can see here, this is took a screenshot from a Facebook, and this is my profile right here. And as you can see, I would normally not do this, but I have on the left hand side, I have all the games that I play. I have a photo. So what we're dealing with here is people that interact, they exchange information, and Facebook is one of the key places where we do that. So we have to, when we do this, we want to make sure that we teach children what information to post and what not to post, not just little things like spelling and grammar, but also, would you really need to tell somebody you're going to the doctor's office or you're going to a specific place? You'll find that some users want to tell more information than others, but we really want to regulate that at certain points. And you see, this is just some examples that I have my profile and notifications that I'm receiving that you saw on the previous slide. Some of the games that I'm currently playing, the time of day, some things that are relevant and other things that are not. So we really want to keep an eye on that. And then certain information is okay to share, while other information is not always the best to share. And for this, some of the tools that we use to share information include the TitanPad, the Flipgrid, and WordPress. So on the TitanPad here, I'm talking about the Scholastic book, The Magic School Bus, that I like. It's just showing my likes and dislikes, and the great feature is that it's just text. It's easy to download, and it's also easy to identify because everyone has a different color that they use to identify the text, and someone could save their work as many times as they need to. So it has many, many advantages. Now, Flipgrid is also another great tool to use. That's when we go and we use it as a function for taking a webcam and giving a response to a discussion question posed in class. And what happens is that the library is where the children may need to go to access like computers and stuff. So if the teachers are going to consider using this, they're going to need like certain equipment like laptops and microphones and webcams to make this possible. So it's really important that if for future teachers or librarians who are thinking of using this stuff, if we're going to use it as the digital age progresses, we need to take these things into consideration. And also, a lot more often now than what used to be in like the 17th and 18th centuries, now everything in the 19th century is a digital press. Everything is exposed online, so we share it. And this is one of my reflective essays that I wrote during the semester. So that's one of the very important things that we want to teach children, is not only to acquire knowledge, but to share their findings and to do it appropriately and to post them online. It's not just using spelling and grammar and stuff, but sharing our findings and our beliefs based on what we have in a course or relating to a particular concept. And another important, probably one of the most important features for critiquing web sources is that we want to help children differentiate between a non-credible source. Anyone in the world could write it. And as you can see here, I put Wikipedia. And the thing about this is that we could use it for our own benefit. Like if we wanted to know something about tumors, we could look that up. But it would not be appropriate for a research project. And then for using scholarly articles, you see we have a lot more information that we could work here, and most of them are peer-reviewed. So the reason why I put down like the author's name, the type of article, I made this list here is because I wanted to show, like especially when teaching children, like how they should cite their sources, either by APA or MLA, usually starting with like the last author of the last name of an author, and then the first name or the first initial. So teachers are going to want to know where they got their information, and it's very important that children can demonstrate the skill of doing a works cited page, not just critically responding to something. We're also dealing with the exposing kids to popular music today, and this is where the goal of the Kidz Bop series. The lyrics are modified. We're dealing with some copyright issues here because although it's for a kid-friendly version, they're just trying to, in my terms, I think that it's really could be, they're just modifying it so that way children could listen to it. An example I have here is $50 for a t-shirt that's just some ignorant bitch shit. It's turned into $50 for a t-shirt that's silly and overpriced. The good thing about this is that the children's vocabulary can be broadened, but the bad thing about this is that, I mean, they're just modifying lyrics, and there's also many other good songs out there like Elton John's Crocodile Rock, and I mean, as children get older, they could start listening to that stuff. Another important topic is when critiquing video games. In Grand Theft Auto, there's a lot of blood and violence, gang-related violence and drive-by shootings. So what we need to do is we need to start setting age limits, as some of the libraries listed here started to do, and others will not restrict patrons to use violent video gaming at all. And then like certain libraries will restrict users to like age. They have to be 17 or older and show identification in order to check out video games if they're going to use them. And the arcade games can also contain pornography. We're dealing with here, this is the actual game itself, like the screenshot on the right. When you hit the play button, all you do is just go around and collecting dorks. You pretty much kill people. You jump on top of dorks and collect their drinks. And that's how you gain points, and then when you finish the level, it all clears and it goes on to the next one. And a lot of it is, there is some pornography seen in here, so there's a lot of content that's inappropriate for children. That's one of the issues we're dealing with too, is that older kids could tell younger kids, oh listen, you should check out like addictinggames.com or this game Fly Girl. Well, we need to backtrack, and children need to be aware, and so do parents and teachers, of what's happening here, because a lot of the games are inappropriate, so we need to start taking action. Now this game, the children would want to know, and I'm sure parents and other educators, about all the good games out there. So I have an example here of Train Station, where someone could manage their own fleet of trains and they haul cargo. It's based off of like realistic scenarios of things that could happen, and you could complete various objectives at your fingertips and win awards. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. And the best part is it's not violent, and it's a great way for children to socialize with one another and their friends on Facebook. And you can do this with many games on Facebook. It's not just limited to Pixel Federation's Train Station. And another question is, should children be allowed to participate in evaluating sources? The answer is yes, because they will need to know eventually what to look for, and how the age range for doing that would be for ages 1 through 4. You'd want to use a program like WebMac Junior. It just answers, like, gives questions, 24 questions regarding content for children to rate from 1 to 3. And what happens is it's used as a way for libraries to distinguish between good sources and bad sources, and what the content about them is, so they could gain a variety of information, and it could be a very useful tool for learning about the invisible web or the non-invisible web, knowing what's out there. Another concern is we have to watch out for these pop-up ads. If a child sees this, how will they know what to do? So, like, congratulations, like, they get tricked into thinking they're gonna win a computer or something, as you can see here in these advertisements, but it's all a lie. It's a scam, and it could end up destroying a computer. So we don't want situations like this one to happen. And I also put a stop sign here because we don't want to just teach children not to click on pop-up blockers, but to also to warn them of these just compulsive habits of clicking the mouse, using the keyboard, and also regulating time on the computer for use, like maybe an hour to an hour or so, but no longer. There should be limits enforced, because many articles that I've read throughout this semester have said that using the internet and web access like 11 hours or more per week and stuff, and eventually we need to get away from that, and we need to think about what we're doing and why we're doing it. And this is just the very start. This is just a mini presentation that I've conducted, so we can continue to educate the public on what to do in terms of evaluating different types of music, video games, and other multimedia and tools that we use for consideration in class or outside of school.